Hey everyone, we just wanted to quickly jump out and address the controversy. After Steve's comments on last week's episode, we decided it was best to remove him from the show. What he said does not represent what TODO CHIDO believes or what it's about, and effective immediately the show will continue without him.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Patrick and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And from earlier today, I know you guys saw our opening. We're just kidding.
Yeah, we're just kidding. Steve's fine.
Yeah, Steve's on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation. But do check out last week's episode. It was really good.
It was, actually.
He didn't say anything wrong.
No, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. He's not. He's not gone. He's on vacation.
Yeah.
He's headed back right now. So
yeah, he's on his way.
maybe he'll get here in time for the end of the show. Who knows? But yeah. So thank you for coming, Patrick. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's always great.
He's filling in for Steve today.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we got for today, Julie? What are we talking about?
So for today, I know Patrick was talking about the weather earlier.
Fuck this weather, dude.
Yeah,
Bro, it's so hot.
It's really hot.
It's supposed to get to what, like 105?
In the central, in the valley, it's
Mhm.
supposed to get like 114. At my house, it's 107.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. And then the whole weekend is supposed to be over 100.
Damn.
That's crazy. I don't think it even in like summer, like May,
No.
June, July, it ever got to
Only
100.
like one day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Kind of scary.
It's weird. It's weird that it got hot around this time, though.
People say that though, right? That it gets hot in September. Like really?
I've noticed it like since high school. It's like October when it gets fucking hot.
When it gets hotter.
October.
Yeah.
Really?
That's crazy. I don't know, man. Global warming's scaring me.
We're cooked, literally.
We're
We're
cooked.
getting cooked alive. No, yeah, everybody stay cool out. By the time they see this, it's the heat wave is going to be over, but it's what we're going through right now. So if you're listening to it, you made it through.
For real.
I was talking to Patrick and Julie about how I saw some chick on TikTok say that global warming is ending fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not going to be autumn anymore. That's not true. I fact checked it right now. It says no, global warming is not ending autumn, but it's changing the fall season in many ways. So basically, it's just getting warmer. So I guess kind of what she said is like, I don't know. I get what she means. She's just
Mhm.
saying it's not going to be cool anymore. It's going to be just hot.
Damn.
Would that make like winter shorter then?
I think what they're saying is that it fucks with like the ecosystem. Like a lot of the trees rely on it to get
Yeah.
cooler. But then when it's hot, they're like, oh, fuck. So I don't know what to do. And I think
Yeah.
animals fucks with their migration and shit like that.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So our whole system is fucked.
Yeah. It's looking
Yeah.
like we're fucked. Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. I don't know. I'm like, I really hate hot weather. And I'm like, it's going to get hotter and like less cooler. But I mean, also when it was cold. And it like
Yeah.
rained. Bro, there was one point where it like snowed. Like everything overall is like,
Oh, yeah. It snowed in LA.
Yeah.
Last year, right?
Was it-
What happened, no?
Was it this year?
was it the beginning of this year?
I don't know. It snowed in Eagle Rock, right? And
Yeah.
kind of here.
Mhm.
Pasadena.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, scary.
But remember, it was like, we were like, bro, it snowed. Like, that was really weird.
That is crazy. When was the last time it snowed in LA? I remember when it happened, people were saying it hasn't happened in like 100 years.
In LA? Let me see.
Well, I think that's what people say more about global warming is that the weather becomes a lot more extreme. Like weather. What was it? Was it this year when all the streets right here flooded? Or was that last year?
I remember this year. It was like near my house only. There was like hail, like breaking everything down.
That's scary, man. I don't know.
Like the size of a golf ball, hail.
Size of a golf
Yeah.
ball?
Some
Jesus.
people's windows shattered and everything. I was worried about my car too.
That's scary, man. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. Is there anything?
The last time that it snowed in LA was in January of 1949.
Damn, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. I don't know.
No, I think we're already at the point where scientists say there's no point in return.
Really, man? Didn't they say we had like 12 years?
Nah, that thing got cut short because like I'm pretty sure like
We sped it up.
not just that and like politicians and lawmakers are
Oh,
still
they don't
like
care.
yeah, they're not going for it.
They're like stopping it.
I don't get that. Cause I don't know, like, I know it's easy for me to say, right? Like to be like, oh, well, if I was a politician, I would,
do something.
yeah. And I'm not saying like, oh, sympathy for the politicians. I'm more me saying like, what goes through their head? Cause I feel like, I don't know if there's any amount of money that you could give me where I'd be like, let me just kill the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cause at this point I'm like, do they genuinely not believe it's true? Or, cause I never really thought that. I thought they were just like, they kind of do believe it, but obviously the money's good, so they just pretend like they don't believe it.
I think so.
You think that?
I think so too, especially like car companies and like food companies, all them like getting not lobbyists, but pretty much getting paid to like ignore it and like push another type of law to like enhance like factories to keep going and running and all that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But isn't there money in putting it in to save the environment, or no? Not really.
What do you mean?
Like
green jobs?
Yeah,
Stuff
like
that?
wouldn't there also be benefits in saving like the planet and stuff?
I think probably.
Right?
I don't know enough to where I'm confident when I say this. So take this with a grain of salt. But I think the reason that a lot of people don't go green is because it helps everyone. You know, like I don't know if this is a good example, but like, you know how they want to tax drivers in LA now because too many people are driving like electric cars, so they can't tax gas. Kind of like that, where it's like it wouldn't keep one person rich. I think because like if we switch to solar, how do you like stop the sun? Like how do you charge people? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But if everybody owns the gas, I can charge the shit out of you for that. But if you buy solar panels, I can't be like, no, you can't get, like, you know? Yeah. So it's like that, I think.
Do a whole cover over your house.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's how it goes.
That's crazy, though, honestly. Because the whole electric car thing and, like, how people are genuinely pissed about that of, like, you can't tax them because, you know, they're not taking gas, you know? Yeah. I think that part is just crazy because it generally is, like, do you guys not see how the world is just like being affected? Yeah. But I guess it's because like if they're rich, like why would they care? You know, like they're living their lavish and luxury lives. Like
they're old too.
Yeah, like why would they care about the rest of us?
Well, it's mostly rich people who are doing it. Like we talked about it on the show not that long ago, where it's propaganda. Mm-hmm. Like if you know how they're always like, oh, the world's ending because you don't recycle. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Like the average person isn't really responsible for global warming. It's the big corporations who improperly dump or use you know, it's everything they do. Or like the Taylor Swifts of the world, how she drives her jet to like the end of her parking lot. And I think that burns more gas than like a small town does.
Yeah.
You know? So it's not the average Joe, which I get is kind of what makes people kind of frustrated and helpless. Or feel helpless because, you know, everybody wants to be like, oh, well, I want to do something. And I commend them for that. But it's mostly just rich people. But that's always the problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do be the problem.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything.
Yeah. But optimism. Hopefully it figures it out.
I was going to ask, is that myth real? The one like you can't collect rainwater?
I think you can. I don't think that's true. Okay. Let me
go. Wait, what do you mean?
I remember like growing up, people were like, oh, you can't collect rainwater. It's illegal. Something like that.
Is it illegal to collect rainwater? It is recommended to check your state's laws regarding water use for further details. Let me see.
That's the first thing it tells you?
Rainwater collection is legal in the United States, but it's not regulated by federal law, and each state has its own laws. Some states have stricter regulations than others, while some encourage rainwater harvesting. Here are some things in collecting rainwater in California. Permits. The California Plumbing Code requires special permits, plumbing, and filtering for using collected rainwater indoors, even for flushing toilets.
That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy. Yeah.
So they generally just don't want you to use it?
I don't know their specific reason. From what I read on Google right now, they're saying like, oh, it's like plumbing codes and like you need certain filters. But I don't know, for flushing toilets, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I don't really understand why that's necessary.
Why like black bacteria from like collecting rainwater? Because you got to filter it, especially.
But here's the thing with that. Rainwater is dirtier than shit or piss. Or even because you know what's actually harmful? those wet wipes people use, they like clog drains. Like they're horrible for drains. So I can't see how rainwater's worse than that. But I don't know. Maybe a plumber will like duet this and be like, "You ignorant fucks, you don't know
the bacteria."
Yeah, the bacteria is killing the plumbing,
and it's killing the fish or some shit.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I don't know. But I know what you're talking about. I think when people say that, it's like people say it's like, oh, it's because they don't want you to have water for free, you know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't believe water is a human right, which is crazy. Yeah, like the guy. I shouldn't call out the company because they'll probably sue us. But yeah, that's our little weather spiel. Kind of moving on to hopefully something more optimistic. Happy birthday, Patrick!
Thank you.
Happy
birthday, Patrick! Happy belated birthday! Ooh. Everybody, give him a round of applause. Ooh. Comment "Happy birthday, Patrick" in the comments. Duet him. Give him happy birthday wishes.
I'm not 30 years old.
So how does it feel?
Yeah, how does it feel?
My whole frontal lobe developed everything.
Really?
You know, going green, going
green.
Really?
Vegetarian, vegan.
Do you actually feel like your frontal lobe developed?
Yeah, like it kind of like it feels like I got connected to like the system.
Responsible?
Yeah, I do feel more responsible now. But like before that, god damn, I was going through it. I don't know, like if before that, like any random occasion I was going through, like I got like a flashback of like an old memory, and I'm like, why now? Like, it just got me sad.
Do you feel comfortable sharing how old you are in front of the camera?
I think, would you consider unk status?
You? Yeah. Would I consider you unk status?
Like 25. I'm 25 now. I'm 25.
He's in his mid-20s.
Nah, I don't think.
Right? That's mid-20s,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's unk status, but I feel like our audience is older, so they'd probably be like, you're a baby.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
You are a baby.
Yeah, Julie's 20.
I'm 30.
Yeah, if you round her up, she's 30.
That's crazy.
Technically, if you rounded you up, you're 32. Yeah. Because, right, it's 5 and over.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's true.
So how does it feel?
Feels good. But it feels good for me because some people don't think I'm old. Some people think I'm like younger. I've had encounters like, oh, I thought you looked freaking younger. I've had cousins from like Ohio tell me like, oh, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 20. I was like, I'm 24, and they're like, dang.
You have cousins in Ohio?
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
Wow. Or Idaho, one of them.
That's funny. No, yeah. I guess it's always interesting, right? When people hear your age and then they're like, you don't look like that old.
Have you guys seen on TikTok all the older people who are like, oh, I'm 32, but I don't look your average 32, but then they look like 40?
I think it was from like, it reminded me of that one video that you told me about the older 30-year-olds who go like raving or something.
Yeah.
And then people were like, bro, you guys look old as fuck.
That's crazy.
No, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm always scared to say people say that I look younger because I'm afraid of getting insanely checked. Being like, damn, bro, I thought you were like 45. Come on. I didn't know about that.
As a compliment, though, that means you take good care of your skin.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you think people are being honest when they're like, oh, I thought you were younger?
If someone genuinely told you look younger, probably. But I don't know. I think most people genuinely look their age. I don't know. Maybe it's like a phenomenon that happens.
I'm like, do I look like my age?
If I didn't know you and I had to guess, you're 27?
Yes.
I would say
I don't remember.
I would say you look mid-20s. I would say you look in your 20s.
I say 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say you look in your 20s.
24? Okay.
I feel like when people enter their 30s, they have a look, you know? I don't know how to explain it.
Is it the wrinkles on
first
your
wrinkle?
eyes?
I don't know if it's wrinkles, but I feel like they're like bone structure, like their face kind of molds more to their. I don't know. Okay. I think when you're younger, you still kind of have a little bit of baby face, little snap to your skin.
Yeah, but even like for 30s, I still feel like that's still young. You know?
It is young. Yeah.
I've seen people on TikTok. They're like, "Oh, 30s is a new like 25, and then 25 is a new 21." Interesting.
Do you think so, or do you think we're coping?
I think we're coping.
You think we're coping?
You think we're coping?
Do you think we're coping?
I think we're coping.
Because I don't see like young people being like 19-year-olds being like, 30's the new 25.
I think our time is done.
I think it's okay to age. You know,
you learn.
Yeah, but I still feel like I don't know. I guess it's different because a lot of our parents had kids at a really really young age. I mean, like my mom had my brother at 19, and like the thought of like, us, being parents at 19 is crazy. Like we're still, if we look back at it, we still feel like we're babies back then, like we're still really young and like naive, and we don't know that many stuff about the world. And that's why I'm like, I think when you get to your 20s, you realize even more about how young you really are,
Yeah.
And like, I always said that I feel like your 20s are really a time to discover yourself and to really see what you like and what you want to do with your life. And then your 30s is where you actually, when you're finally determined to do what you want to do. And I think that's where you officially like find yourself. And I've heard that a lot with, especially with women, because they're very much like, like how I've said on the show before of like how women are expected, to be married and like have kids at a young age, right? Because they always tell women like, oh, your time is ticking, because, just like through our bodies, it's sometimes hard to like have kids and all these things. So that's why I'm like, I feel like, I think that's why some people are like, I wouldn't be able to be a mom at a young age. Like I still feel like I want to live for myself,
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of our 30s are very much like a good time to like explore,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's how I see it.
I was Googling because I saw on TikTok a while ago people saying that, like older people saying that their happiest year of life was like 34, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tried to find it on Google, and Google says the researcher, it's some random one. It's saying that these researchers at the European Union found that people were happiest when they arrived at the age of 70.
Damn.
So I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I think, yeah, but I think you're right.
Do you guys think about old age?
Do I think about it?
Yeah, like about you.
Old?
Yeah,
Like,
about
does it
you
haunt
being
me?
old. What?
Does it haunt me?
No, like just do you just think about it? Because there was this one thought that I had one time, and I was just like, damn, like one day I'm really just gonna look really old.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if it was just like mind blowing me of the thought of like one day I'm just gonna be really, really old. And I think it's because of I've always just seen myself really young, that I think, like you look back at pictures of yourself and you've only ever known yourself as being young. But like the thought of like, and the image of seeing myself, I'm not saying that I'm dreading it or like I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty much like, I'm fine becoming old, but it's just trippy. The thought of like, damn, I'm going to be old and like wrinkly and like, I'm going to have, like grandkids and all these things. And I'm like, that's crazy to think that that's a life that's kind of like waiting for me,
Yeah.
And it was always a thought for myself, or I always just thought about it where I'm like, it's crazy. 'Cause like, I guess I also reflect through it through like seeing my parents, where I'm like, I remember when they looked really young, and I can look back at pictures of them too. But to see them now getting older and stuff, I'm like, I'm going to look like them. Like, I'm going to look like them someday. And I think it's crazy to think that like life is like that, where life just like evolves in that way, and like you start looking different in the world. But that's what I meant. Like, do you guys think about it in that way?
I think the one thing that like kind of scares me about being old is not me. It's more like if I'm married, or like when I'm married, right? And my like who goes first. I think that's the only thing that I think about. That I'm kind of a little like I don't want to think about that. But me being old, I've never personally found the idea of me like looking old or being like an old man super depressing. I mean, maybe like if stuff doesn't work, like I don't know, like if my knee hurts, like my knee does hurt. Like that, I'm sure it's kind of frustrating. But in terms of like my appearance, if I have wrinkles or like white hair, I think that's kind of cool. I don't know. But I think it's easier for me to say. I think the man perspective of getting old is different from a woman's perspective. Because I think, I don't know. I feel like being a grizzled old man is kind of like, I don't know. That's
it's
like
cool.
it's like the masculine urge
It's
to
like
be a grizzled old man, you know?
See, like wise.
Okay.
Like people would come to you a lot.
Yeah, you know? So I don't
Okay.
know. It's probably different for girls, right?
Probably.
Because society's always
Because
telling you how to-
looks and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So probably easy for me to say, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like, I think I'd make a good old man. I don't want to be a grizzled old man, you know? With lore,
Yeah. I want to be a wise old woman.
sage.
I feel like I'd be scared because I would always have the thought that time is kind of running out. Like time is limited with like people, family and all that. Like,
Yeah.
and people are like, we're only on this big rock for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
and that kind of sticks with me
Mm-hmm.
because you think about your family getting old, think about like your pets getting old too. They're limited here too.
Yeah.
And always the thought of like what's after death.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that bugs me really.
I
Like,
think
I don't mind aging.
I don't know. I remember when I was younger, I always thought that like when I got old, maybe I'd kind of just, I don't know, I'd just get less scary for some reason. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I saw some old people, like, yeah, generally speaking, they kind of become like, nah, I'm ready to check out, you know?
Yeah.
But some old people, they don't get that, which I think is kind of sad. Like, you're right. Like, if you're old and you're kind of like really afraid to die, I think that's sad. Do I think about that part? I don't know.
I've only ever thought about like what you said about thinking about my significant other passing before me.
Yeah.
Because I remember for a long time, and I don't think about it as much recently, but before I used to think about it of like, I think that's why for a while I also didn't want to get in a relationship, because I genuinely was like, that was like really one thought that I always had of like, someday I'm going to have to experience, or like they're going to have to experience, but this is more just me speaking on myself of like, I'm going to have to experience maybe my partner like passing away. And I think that's one of like the hardest things. Cause like when I watch like movies and shows,
Like,
and they're like, and they're watching like, you know, their husband or like their wife pass away. I'm like, I think that's a really like hard and like trippy thing to like go through, because it's like, you know, this is somebody who you were going to be with like in the rest of your life and that you love so deeply. And yeah, like you eventually, you know, if you guys grow old together, like, that's really great and you guys had an amazing life, but to experience that is just like so heartbreaking, because it's like, this is your person, you know, because by then I'm imagining that, you know, you lost your parents, like, and like you still have your significant other because that's your family, and you still have your kids, of course, but I think like losing the person that you love so deeply, I think was always such a scary part of it all.
Yeah.
But I don't think about it as much anymore. I think I eventually was kind of like, it's going to happen. Not saying that it's not going to be heartbreaking, but I think in the end, like, it'll be fine because you still have everybody else. Like, you know, you still have your kids, whether you have kids or you have like your friends and everything. The friend part is also sad though, like seeing your friends pass away. But I think at least the hope that I have in that is that at least you can say that you lived a good life with them, you know? And I think that's the thing that you can probably hold on to be like, it's not all bad. Like, you know, it's still sad and it's still like a heartbreaking part of it. But I think you can also still be like, you know, like we still were good together. We still hung out. We had all these memories, you know? And it's also just a part of life the older you get. You know?
I also think, though, that one thing, I don't think it scares me right now. Maybe as I get older, it'll scare me. But I feel like people treat the elderly not amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it always makes me sad that, like, thinking about how old people kind of end up alone, you know? And I'm just like, he's just an old guy. Like, you know, that just he's there alone by himself. He can barely do anything, you know? That part makes me a little sad. I think that needs to change. But I don't know. I think that's a community issue.
Yeah.
I think the community.
Why do you think people are so mean to older people?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Because I want to be like, I think that we neglect the old because America is super like individualistic, you know? But it's kind of confusing because all of our politicians are really old. Yeah. Like they're all like really old. Yeah. So you'd think it'd be awesome to be an old person here, but it's not, right? Like they're trying to raise the retirement age to like 70
Get rid of
right?
Social Security too.
Get rid of Social Security, like, you know,
backup money.
So I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy to me because I feel like it's such a young people's world.
Probably something with money too.
Yeah.
Because some people are still paying off like their medical debt or something.
Well, I mean the raising the retirement thing, I just generally feel like they just want us to work. Like they want us to keep.
They want you to work till you die.
Yeah.
I want you to drop dead on the factory line.
Yeah, but I don't know what that has to do with like people being mean to like older people. I don't know. Maybe it's like maybe it's kind of like maybe I kind of answered my own question, which is like maybe old people are like the embodiment of
not letting go. Sometimes the world wants to evolve. So they're like,
Mhm.
man, you old fuck, like leave me alone. Like because all our politicians are old. So
Well, I mean, I think especially if we want to get a little more of like, I think some like if you think of like old people, they lived in a time where it was very, you know, like there was a lot of racism, there was a lot
That's
of
true.
like different like, you know, prejudice and all these things, and I think a lot of them are still angry, and I think they take it out on like kids, and I think it's always just seen that way where it's like they're always mad about something, and so then why do
No.
we have to like respect them and like talk to them
oh,
or
yeah,
whatever?
you're right. It seems like I don't know if this is related, but it seems like everybody's always saying the young generation ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they haven't fostered a very healthy relationship because all they're ever saying is like,
Yeah.
you guys are so soft. You don't know how to work.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all like,
Yeah.
like whatever.
I think the other side too is it might be that you know how a lot of us don't really grow up with our grandparents. I think
Yeah.
a lot of us just don't have that connection either.
Yeah.
Where we're like we respect the elder because we never really grew up with our grandparents.
Yeah.
Like especially if we're talking about, you know, a lot of like, you know, people of color. Like I think most of us didn't grow up with a grandparent, and if we did, it was just like I think that's where we have a good relationship with older, you know, folks. But I think some of us who probably didn't, I think that's where like sometimes it becomes disrespectful, you know?
Yeah.
Like there isn't that respect that your parents should have established with your grandparents, you
Yeah.
know? Or like that you should have established with your grandparents.
Well, I do think though it's the older generation's responsibility to create that relationship. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like
Well, because they're the adults, you
yeah,
know?
for the longest they've been the adults, and all
Yeah.
they've been doing is talking shit, being like, "You're not shit, you're not shit, you're not shit."
Yeah.
So
It's probably just the mentality that they still live in the old times. Like they haven't moved on with the future.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just hard to let go. It's hard to let go of power and control, I think. So I don't think they want to.
Mm.
It's not really their world anymore.
Yeah.
Because you know what was sad? I was at the Apple store maybe like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking them a question. You know how they have those classes where they teach old folks how to
Oh,
like
yeah.
use it? I don't know.
Mhm.
It's kind of breaking my heart because they're
Really?
because this one old lady was trying to like take notes,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Wait, what? Like I don't get it."
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I was like, like it's so simple. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And I'm not very tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's so simple. But it was breaking my heart because she just couldn't get it. And and he was like, the guy was like, like you just enter your name and then your password. And she's like, password? What's my password? And he was like, you don't know your password? And she was like, no. And then he was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. That makes me sad.
You know what makes me sad with old
What?
people? It's the ones on TikTok that I see. It starts off with like one grandparent passing away, and then like a few months the other one passes away.
Mm-hmm.
I always find that fascinating because it's like, damn, it's like seeing your significant other just like pass away in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure like that heartbreak actually like it's more physically like
You did die of a
harmful.
broken heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy how you can die of a
Yeah.
broken
Well,
heart.
for
like
sure,
that.
right? Because like stress and all that stuff has an impact on your health.
depression,
I
you don't
can't
wanna-
imagine that tragedy at that age
Yeah.
is easy to recover from. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I don't know why, but for me there's something like sad about it, but also I guess kind of like beautiful about it of like, you know, you kind of just end up following your partner, where it's like, you know, like
I
think it's just like I don't know, I think I also kind of grew up seeing that too, where like
Yeah.
I would hear about it, you know, like he ended up following him because, you know, it was just a lot.
I like those stories when they go together. Like, I don't know, you
Mm.
know, like she died and then like a few minutes later he died. You know, that's how I want to do it.
The Notebook.
Yeah,
The
like
Notebook?
that. Yeah, or like a day later. I don't know if I could.
I'm dead.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be too devastated. I don't think I could recover from that.
I mean, I think it is true. You can die from a broken heart, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I think, I mean, you know, I think there's something, I guess, beautiful of just like following your partner and you guys being together.
To the afterlife.
Yeah.
You know, a question. This is a bit of a deviation, but you know what I've always wondered. I don't mean this in any kind of way, but you know how some people are very religious or they
Mhm.
believe in like heaven and hell. I'm not asking if you guys believe in it, but let's say for scenario's sake, heaven is real. Like you
Mhm.
get to heaven and it's like in the movies, it's like just clouds and happiness and you get all your family members. What happens if you were married and God forbid, you know, the unfortunate tragedy happens that your partner passed while you guys were young
Mm-hmm.
and then you remarried and then you grew old with that partner? What happens when you get to heaven? is it awkward? Like, are you like, ooh, like, are you like, ooh, sorry about that, dude?
Well, has it been like, it's been many years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, to them, like, if they're in heaven, they're like, oh, I'm waiting.
Well, I don't know how time works up there.
I don't either.
we're talking like it exists.
No, but that's why I'm like, in a scenario.
We have to get into this scenario.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what I was going to say is that I hope that maybe my partner found somebody up there.
In heaven?
Yeah.
They found their soulmate.
Like they found their own soulmate, and like they're generally just happy for me that I was able to find someone after them.
I agree with that.
At least that was the first thought I had when you said that. Yeah, because I was just like, I don't know. I feel like we both deserved, and it's sad that they passed, way before me. But I'm hoping in a hopeful world and a very optimistic world that he maybe found somebody who also lost their partner,
Oh, that's sad. They found,
I wouldn't want them to linger.
It's like those. Have you guys ever seen those ones where it's like a cat who lost her kittens, and so they find a bunch of kittens who lost their mom, and so they bring them together, and then the comments will be like, "There's a cat in heaven taking care of her kittens," so they find each other. I'm crying now. That's maybe like that.
At least something like that. I don't know.
I feel like
that would be like a really great thing for both of us. Because if there's good and if heaven is good, then I feel like he would find something good up there.
That's probably good. Like an automatic ticket to heaven.
Yeah.
Heaven?
That's an automatic ticket fighting to heaven.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. So moving on a little bit, well, I heard there's a lot of drama in the Hello Kitty community. What's going on?
Bro. So I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, but it's been on my side of TikTok. Yeah. So there's basically just like crazy shit going on with Hello Kitty, as in like people are genuinely so in love with Hello Kitty that because I guess people post like going to TJ Maxx or like going to these different stores and they find like this Hello Kitty like antique or something like that. Right now, because it's fall and it's coming, there's a lot of like Halloween themed Hello Kitty stuff in stores, and so people are going crazy for all these things. Like people are generally lining up like it's Black Friday, like
for Hello Kitty.
Yeah, for Hello Kitty. There was a video that I saw of these people have probably seen it, where it's these 3 women and they're lining up, I think, in front of like TJ Maxx or something, and you can see like it's a castle of Hello Kitty at like a Halloween like ghosts. Like haunted
like
house,
castle,
like little castle, but it's made out of like like glass or whatever. And there's only 2 in the store, and so there's 3 girls, right? And so they like end up like fighting, and they end up breaking it. Damn. And so it's just chaos. And then supposedly that there's more videos of people and even people who work in the stores that are starting to hide all of the Hello Kitty stuff. So there's a lot of videos. I don't know if they're real, but there's a lot of videos of say like like if you go to Ross or like TJ Maxx and they have like those baskets and they're like all up in the shelf, somebody will grab like the top shelf and there's like a shit ton of blankets of like Hello Kitty in that box, because people are now basically like hiding them. That's like true. Or like that's true.
I've seen it firsthand. Really?
You saw it?
Yeah, I went to a Ross just do like some browsing around some home goods stuff, and I was looking through the laundry bins, and I opened one, and somebody hid like a bunch of Hello Kitty like cups, like mugs, and I was like, God damn, like, different types.
There's some places where they just hide them, and some people are saying that it's also employees that hide them just so that it doesn't create chaos. And then there was another one where somebody actually left a note and was like, congratulations, you found like this jackpot of like Hello Kitty shit. And so basically, there's like this whole crazy thing going on with Hello Kitty. And people are basically like fucking fighting for all these items that they're coming out with. And I saw this one store that had a Hello Kitty mug. I'm not going to reveal where it is. But they had so many mugs and nobody's there. So I'm going to take them all. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I also brought this up because, I don't know, do you guys know anything about Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
I know she's 3 apples tall.
I also know she's not a real kitty. No. She's a girl.
She's a girl.
That's just her persona.
She's from England, London.
She's from London. Yeah, she's from
Hello
London.
Kitty's Mexican.
Hello Kitty's Mexican.
I don't know. I don't think she gives London though.
But she's from London.
You haven't seen that video, that meme where she answers the phone and it's that Mexican meme where it's like chinga tu puta madre. And she's like, hello.
I'm dead.
I don't know.
But yeah,
like
but she's
Hello
from
Kitty.
London, and she's a girl, according, to the.
She's just a girl.
She's just a girl. But I've also heard that fans are mad about that because they were like, no, she's a cat.
She's a cat.
Yeah. But they're like,
It's
no.
obvious.
Yeah. They're like, no, she's a girl.
She's a little girl.
But yeah, I did like some research as to like why Hello Kitty became so like popular. And so these are just some things that it says. Hello Kitty has been popular for many reasons, including adaptability. Hello Kitty is featured on a wide range of products, including clothing, toys, food, drinks, and makeup. Cute culture. Hello Kitty is a symbol of cute culture, which is a term for adorable and lovable persona. She's comfortable and positivity. Hello Kitty can bring comfort and positivity to... Wait, this one's weird. And let's see what else. And then they just say she's a fashion icon. Hello Kitty has collaborated with luxury labels and athletic brands. And so she's just like really huge. And I think it was interesting because I know she was huge when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I remember for a while, like it was like here and there.
And then
But I feel like it just blew up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just was more curious as to why. But a lot of the things that I was reading, it mostly just comes from the kawaii culture. I think that's how you say it.
Kawaii.
Which is just like the whole cuteness and like the whole like girly pop kind of stuff. And I think that's why she's like blowing up. But I think the other side is one that I think she just grew up in popularity. And the other side is just I think a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that. Because a lot of the people who also say that they buy all these items are also trying to resell them.
Yeah.
Because people generally really want, I guess, like these very unique and like specialty items. And so like it's just been interesting to see just like how crazy it is, especially because at my job when we have like Hello Kitty nights, it gets pretty crazy. So that's why I was like super interested and to see like all the drama that's like happening with like all these stores. I just think it's really interesting to see that side.
Don't they say people who are obsessed with Hello Kitty are horrible people?
Yeah, they're really mean.
They're
really mean.
Hello Kitty's about kindness and friendship.
Yeah.
The worst person Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I know. it's weird because it's like it generally is. Because the first time.
It's like the size of my head.
Well, because it's funny, because I think the first time that I worked like a Hello Kitty like night, I thought it would be fine, but then the girls were so mean, and I'm like, bro, like Hello Kitty is meant and a representation of being positive and friendly and cute and all these things, and yet you're not.
It's like Christianity.
I don't
it's like Christianity. All religions are like that.
I don't think it's their fault. I would say it's probably like resellers, like making it difficult for people to access those
I can
items.
see that. I fuck with Hello Kitty. She's cool.
Yeah, she's
I
cool.
like her. I have a Jurassic Park Hello Kitty collab because they have it at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
But
that one's actually pretty cute.
I don't understand, like,
The hype.
not the hype in her specifically. I just mean like overconsumption core with any brand. Because Hello Kitty's like a brand, right? She's like a.
Yeah.
I don't really get like, oh, I need everything Hello Kitty. That seems a little obsessive. You know?
Yeah.
What's the thinking? Come on now.
It does give me really weird vibes when everything is just like
All Hello Kitty.
All Hello Kitty, where it's like where people have generally made that into their personalities, like, and I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to think about it. Like, what could it be like psychologically?
I like her friends. What's the dog? Pom Pom Purin.
Oh yeah.
I like him. Yeah, he's cool.
I would say
The one that looks like
he's like a chubby little dog, and his ears are always like up, and he's always just like.
I'd say it's probably just nostalgia. People just look at it and like into their childhood, and like, oh, Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
It's like those memes of like the stick figure like crying, and then it's like Hello Kitty. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like that. Oh my gosh, hi.
Like some sort of trauma, and they're like, oh my god, Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
No, you're right though. I feel like when I was a kid, Hello Kitty was like here and there.
Yeah.
It wasn't. it wasn't like niche or unpopular, but I didn't think it was like this.
Yeah.
And then you're right. For like a good minute, it was like, oh, some things are Hello Kitty, some things are that. But now it's fucking the biggest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right though. Or whatever you're reading is right. I feel like girly pop is back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's her name? Pink Panthers. You know, that kind of like Y2K girl, like you know, like really girly stuff is back.
Well, I guess like that's the other side of it, because you know, like Hello Kitty is from, you know, the Y2K era.
Yeah.
And I think because that's coming back, I think she was one of those big things, like Barbie. You know, like Barbie was also like a big thing.
I like that we talk about Hello Kitty when we say like she's like a she's like a real person.
Like yeah.
Why don't we give this hype to Snoopy though?
Snoopy's pretty big.
Snoopy's getting
back.
big.
He's back too.
Yeah.
I would say if it's like a ranking, I would say Hello Kitty gets a little bit more big brand deals and stuff, but Snoopy's like right there.
Yeah.
Because people like love Snoopy now.
Yeah.
But I see the memes too. Where it's like, y'all are Snoopy this, Snoopy that, but Snoopy probably wouldn't even fuck with you. Because it's like Hello Kitty. I'm like, they're about like friendship and kindness, and you guys are so mean.
Hey, y'all are being a whole bunch of bitches.
I looked up her real name. Her real name is Kitty White.
Oh yeah, it used to be
White.
Kitty White. Yeah.
Oh, it's not Kitty White anymore?
I think I don't know. I think then they changed it to Hello Kitty. No, I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not familiar with her lore.
But did you guys ever hear about the scary like version of Hello Kitty?
There's a creepypasta Hello
Yeah.
Kitty?
Version?
No, what is it?
Yeah. So the real story, the backstory about Hello Kitty is that she the mom had a kid who had cancer, and her kid was dying. And so she made a deal with the devil. And basically, this is what I know. I don't remember reading it as much, but this is what I heard from somebody. That she had cancer in her mouth, right?
Oh.
And the doctors told her that her child, you know, was terminally ill. So then she made a deal with the devil to cure her daughter's, you know, cancer. And so the devil demanded one thing in return, which is that she should create a cartoon character that appeals to children all over the world.
Oh.
And the devil wanted to use the popularity of the cartoon character to trick people into worshiping Satan. And so then that's why when she created it was in the image of like her daughter, which is why, and it was a representation of her daughter, which is why Hello Kitty doesn't have a mouth, because her kid had cancer.
I think I found it. It's like Reddit. Something on
It's
Reddit.
like a creepypasta? Come on now. I hate these. It's like, it's giving them the Suicide Squidward.
I'll read I'll read the first sentence because it's kind of funny.
It's funny.
So it's a theory on why many people think that Hello Kitty is satanic for having no mouth. And the first sentence says, with Hello Kitty having no mouth, they believe that it makes her look heartless and cold-blooded.
I thought when you guys told me like the Hello Kitty thing, I thought they're gonna have like Hello Kitty with like
Like
the
an evil
scary
version.
eyes.
I know.
You know, like the Squidward ones, like that. But
I'm
it's gonna be Hello
dead.
Kitty.
Look up scary Hello Kitty and
I'll
see
look
what you
up
find.
Scary.
Probably be like
Hello-
AI Hello Kitty and stuff.
It's gonna be just her angry or something.
Yeah, or flipping off the camera. I've seen T-shirts of those. Those are pretty
I feel
funny.
like creepypastas have been falling off. They didn't. I thought it was gonna be like this. Like, I don't know, like creepypastas are falling off.
Bro, you know the first time I heard that story was actually from a classmate. And she told me about it, and she was like,
In Catholic school?
Yeah, no, in high school.
Oh.
But she was Christian.
Oh, there you go.
And so she was telling me about it. She was like, yeah, like she like I guess read the creepypasta or whatever,
Yeah.
and she was telling me about it, and she was like, yeah, like Hello Kitty, like, you know, like her mom had a child that had like mouth cancer, and like she made an agreement with like the devil
Crazy
about
lore.
like
Brother.
he should create like a symbol of him so that kids would buy him and blah blah blah. And then I was like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, where did you get this story?
Off Reddit.
Yeah.
Creepypasta writers need to step up their game, man. They fell off hard.
Now they use
or were they ever good? Maybe I was just a dumb kid and I thought it was scary.
Nah, I don't think
Did you guys ever see the one about Phineas and Ferb?
No. There's a Phineas and
No?
Ferb one.
What?
So you know how in Phineas and Ferb, you know how Candace is always telling her mom like, oh, like Phineas and Ferb did this.
Oh, it's that she's like
She's like schizophrenic.
Oh,
yeah.
and they're dead or some
They're dead,
shit, right?
yeah.
Oh my god, those are they're always so dumb. They're always the same like punchline too. It's always like, oh, like Ed, Edd and Eddie. Have you heard the Ed, Edd and Eddie one?
I don't think so.
It's like that they're all dead and they're in purgatory, and that they all died in different time periods. So which one's the one with the slick back? Which Ed is that?
That's Ed?
Is that Eddie?
The
one
purple
with the one with the beanie is Double D, right?
Yeah,
Double D. Yeah.
And then Ed is the really dumb one.
Yeah,
and then Eddie's the like
rip-off.
the rip-off.
Yeah.
They say he died during like the Great Depression because he starved, and that's why he's like so cheap. And then there's the one, I think the kid who has Plank, that he died of cancer, and that's why he looks like that.
On his roll, like the fucking
Oh
fart.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think they're always so stupid. They're always
doing
like, they're actually dead and they're actually in hell or some bullshit like that. Or like
I know there was a SpongeBob one.
Oh, that they're all the 7 deadly sins.
No, there's another one where
Suicide Squidward.
Yeah, I think it was that one. I think it was that one.
Did you know that they made that canon? The show SpongeBob.
What do you mean?
They did an episode, and this is on Nickelodeon, where SpongeBob opens like a door and it has like a bunch of doors, and they show like Suicide Squidward, like
Really?
yeah, but they do it in like the SpongeBob style, like they redraw them, but they kind of made it canon. But I don't know, it's pretty.
Well,
stupid.
there was one time where I was reading it, and there was this guy who was like, I was up in the middle of the night, and I was playing SpongeBob, and then this like weird episode that I had never seen before, but it was SpongeBob killing himself.
I thought it was Squidward.
No, and in this story, it was SpongeBob killing himself. That he was like, I can't do it anymore. Like he's like, I'm never gonna get like to be the boss or some shit. So then he ends up killing himself.
I also saw one where it's Up, the movie, where it's like he's actually dead and Russell's like his angel, and that's why he's floating. I don't know. That's so cheap and unoriginal. It's always the same.
Have you seen a good one? What would you say was a good one?
A good one?
Yeah.
There's one where the writer of SpongeBob, like one of the writers said that they're supposed to be the 7 deadly sins, and that's. But I don't know. I don't think there are ever any really good ones because it's always some dude on Reddit. You know, I would like to see like a real writer like come in and but they all suck. Like, did you guys ever see the Husky one where it's Smiley?
The SpongeBob one?
No, it's just an internet one. The Husky smiling one. You never seen it? It's
Skinwalker one?
The Husky creepypasta.
No.
You guys never seen that one?
No.
It's like the smiling dog. It's just,
it's
just that one. Yeah, he's just a dog that smiles. I remember as a kid, everybody was like, like one night I was with my dog and he fucking like started smiling at me. I couldn't tell what was wrong with them. And then people were like, oh, if you see this image, that means you're dead already. And as a kid, I was like, "Oh my god, that's so scary!"
Hiding from your dog.
I know, bro. You're right though. I don't think they were ever any good. I was just a dumb kid.
Yeah, we're just kids, and everything was scary back then.
Yeah, but I didn't know there was Hello Kitty creepypastas. That's funny.
Yeah, bro. You never heard of that one?
No.
I only heard about it because of that classmate
That's funny.
That she's the one who told me about it. She also is the one who told me that if you watch scary movies, that they're all like possession rituals. So when you watch them, you get possessed.
I remember hearing that about music videos.
Really?
Like there was music videos that if you watch this music video, it's actually a ritual. So you play it in reverse. There's one of like with Beyonce where you like put a ring on it or some shit and they reverse it and they like it sounds like gibberish, but they're saying like, oh, Satan, take my soul or some shit like that. And yeah, I don't know. It's all stupid.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
Okay, so what is this about jealousy you want to talk about, Jules?
So for this part, it's called World's Most Jealous Woman. Damn. So world's most jealous woman makes her husband take a lie detector test every time he comes home. So, a British woman made headlines in 2013
British.
for her extreme jealousy towards her husband, Steve.
Steve?
Damn.
Come on,
She insisted that Steve take a lie detector test every time he returned home from being out, regardless of the reasons. The origin of this behavior can be tracked to a time when Steve was dating someone else before they became officially committed. This past experience seemed to deeply impact Debbie's trust in him, leading to her extreme measures. Beyond the lie detector test, Debbie also imposed other strict rules on Steve, such as limiting his social interaction and controlling his finances.
What?
Mhm.
Steve's got to leave her. She sounds insane.
But so I read more into it, right?
Yeah.
Because she would honestly check. So in the article that I read, she would check a lot of like his emails, his bank statements. He was forbidden from looking at pictures of women. But then it said that actually she suffered from a disease called, or is it a disease? Let me see. A syndrome. So it was Othello syndrome, which causes delusional jealousy. And so this is another. This is a syndrome that experiences obsessive, intrusive, and or delusional thoughts. So that's why she was very like on him, because she
Yeah.
had like this sort of like syndrome, which they also call pathological jealousy or morbid jealousy.
Jesus.
And of course delusional jealousy. So it was like a disorder that she was actually having. So that's why she was very strict. And
She's just trying to cope.
Yeah.
Let's cope.
That's insane.
right.
Are they still together? Do you know?
Let me see.
This is a real story, right?
Yeah, this is a real story.
creepypasta?
No.
Another creepy-
Have
she
you
kills
heard of-
him.
What's her
Let me
name?
see. Debbie.
Have you heard of jealous Debbie? She would make him do a lie detector test every time he showed up, and her eyes were so real.
Let me see if they're still
Um,
together.
I don't know. That's crazy. Aren't poly? Well, first of all,
how the
she's.
fuck do you get it your hand?
Yeah,
on a
how do you
fucking-
get one of those? I can't imagine they're really cheap, but also they don't work. They're not true.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Julie?
What? Ben?
Lie detector tests are not true. They don't
They're
work.
not real.
It's fake. It's
It's like-
pseudoscience.
Like one in something.
It's,
Really?
it's completely false.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guy who invented it, it's based on, there's no science to prove that it's true.
It's like, I think it's a front. I think
Yeah.
it's purposely supposed to make you scared.
No, yeah, people say it's
Mm.
like it's supposed to make you scared. Like, so like if you don't know shit about shit and you take a polygraph, it's like, oh my god, they're gonna know that I'm lying, so they just tell the truth. And then I think other people say it's like it's supposed to influence a jury. Well, look, he failed like the polygraph test, like he failed the lie detector, so obviously he was lying. But I mean, I don't know. If people are smart enough, they would know that that's not true. It's not.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't mean anything.
Damn.
Are they
So they use them to just manipulate people.
probably
Yeah.
like most things, yeah.
Good
That's
manip-
crazy.
Good manipulation tactic.
That's a very good manipulation tactic. But I don't know. Actually, never mind. Fuck the police. They shouldn't do that.
They do
I
that
think
for-
I can't find anything about that they're not together. So
I guess Steve's a good dude.
Probably
yeah, I
dead.
guess so.
I don't know.
He's probably dead.
He's probably dead.
Bruh.
That's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what was your question related to it?
Are you guys jealous people?
I don't think so. Are you?
No,
I don't think so. I don't think
you don't
I don't
think
think
you
so.
are.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty chill.
Well, I don't know. Like what?
What could,
Like, is there anything that you would say maybe makes you jealous with like
Makes
your
me jealous?
like with your significant partner, or no?
Not that I can think of that. Like no, because I guess the only thing like when I think of when people say they're jealous people, it's like, oh, I don't like when my girl goes out
yeah.
to like clubs and shit. But I never really understood why that. I don't think that's weird to put rules on
Yeah.
your partner. It's kind of, I don't know. That seems pretty controlling.
Yeah.
I just get jealous when he laughs at a girl's joke, or like when he makes a girl
Oh,
laugh.
So
like
it's
that.
you. That gets you. So it's you.
It's you. So
You're Debbie.
You're the drama.
Yeah,
Debbie.
I am the drama.
Oh, you're Debbie. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I make him go through a lie detector
Lie detector
test.
test.
Bro,
Oh,
I
that's
thought
why
they were real.
That's why we told her it was fake. She was like, "Oh, really?"
Oh, really?
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird how people are like that. Like, oh, my girl can't go to like clubs, or she can't have friends.
Yeah.
She can't do anything, and vice versa. I think if a girl's like super
I don't like when you hang out with your boys.
Yeah, they just inspire you to cheat. I don't
Yeah.
know. Because to me, I'm like, damn, like that just seems like a horrible like experience to always be like so paranoid about your partner, you know?
Like on edge about it.
Yeah, like all the time. I'm like, damn, like do you even like is it even fun when you guys are together? Because I can't imagine just always being with your partner and not being allowed to do anything else is fulfilling.
Bored, yeah.
You know?
But what?
I get bored. It's all boring.
Yeah, it seems unfulfilling. It's also weird because I see a lot of dudes are always like, "Oh, you let your girl go out? Like, what a simp." I mean, not controlling her. Dog. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Like, if I'm be honest, I feel like I sometimes get a little jealous, but I know that for me personally, it comes from just me being insecure with myself.
Yeah.
Of like, I think I've always just grown up being like, oh, there's prettier people. And I always felt like I was never really pretty or anything. But I think that just is a lot from like my own trauma and my own experience, where I think sometimes I feel that jealousy or like there's sort of like this intimidation. But I know that comes from just me being insecure.
No, yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with being jealous, like, and being like, but like if you say it like that, like if you admit it and you're like, actually I'm just kind of insecure. Yeah. And I don't, can you reassure me or tell me shit like that? But I feel like if you're jealous and then you try to control people to then like make yourself feel better, that's wrong.
Yeah, you're just fucking hater at that point.
You're a hater. Yeah, I agree actually.
Like when they're like, why are you liking other girls' pictures? Or why are you even looking at them?
Well, this is what I mean when I'm like, when I was kind of like, what do you mean jealous? Because sometimes I'm like, there's stuff that people do that I'm like, I feel like that's valid, and they just call it jealousy. Like if you're liking like thirst traps like all the time, and like, or like those posts or memes that are like, I low-key hate my girl, I love cheating, and then to turn around and be like, oh, you're just being jealous. See, that's fucked up. Like that's not being jealous.
Gaslighting and manipulation.
Or like if like a girl is like, she finds it uncomfortable that you're touchy with one of your girlfriends, and they'll be like, oh, you're obviously just jealous. You get what I mean? I'm like, that's not jealousy.
I think that's valid.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, when people say jealous or like jealousy, I'm like, I don't really know even what they're kind of referring to now. You know what I mean?
I just meant like in that sense of like if she's talking to another dude or something, or like the dude makes her laugh, or like I don't know what would be another version of that.
When your homie makes your girl laugh like
when he turns into Kevin Hart around her.
Like that?
Yeah. Like just those things, or like I mean, I guess like if you ever not a little jealous of when she does
I
go
can't
out
think of anything like on the spot, but when I think of stuff, I'm more like, to me it seems like it would be like what I paint. It would be like what I said earlier. Like, oh, if someone's being touchy, but that would never really happen. And even if that did happen, I wouldn't categorize that as jealousy. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, hey, this is kind of disrespectful. No, like, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the other thing is for sure a lot of it just comes with trust and stuff. Yeah. But I think for me, and it's always just been like, I trust my partner. I just don't trust other people because I don't know them. I don't know what they can do. But I'm hoping that my partner will respond in a very respectful way for the both of us.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think that's just another thing. I think it's just like trusting your partner and that he doesn't do anything. But it's also like, if you can't trust your partner, then why are you in a relationship with them? Yeah. Like, what makes you not trust them,
Yeah, I agree.
It could be projection too. Like the other partner is probably doing it low key and be like, oh, why are you doing this?
I thought about that too. Yeah. I thought about like, is it that you have these thoughts of him doing it because you've had those thoughts that you kind of want to do it too?
Well, that's what, don't they say? I don't know if this is true, but because I always see that those TikToks where they're like, top 10 times he's cheating. And if they start accusing you of cheating, because it's like they're projecting. I don't know if that's like researched, if that's true, but maybe.
I think it's some...
I can see it, yeah.
In some, yes.
Can see it, yeah.
In some, yes. Because I could see that, they're very much like, you only need to be loyal to me. But it's just very much like, it's because they're not being loyal to you.
I could see somebody
I could see it like that. But I don't know if it's everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's the big part where, like, I don't know if it's everybody's reason or everybody kind of does that where they're always just projecting. I think some people are generally just concerned. They're, you know, like a lot of them probably just have trust issues, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a good partner, they'll reassure you and they'll work with you through that, you know. But if not, and if he's like playing more into your insecurity, I think that's where it's wrong.
Yeah. I feel like too, right? If you're jealous, like I said, it's fine if you communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get not sitting down and trying to like fix that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get how you just then controlling and restricting everything your partner does is the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like it fixes anything.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
Well, because I feel like with relationships, a lot of it is compromising, you know, like if your significant other feels about, you know, I don't know, you hanging out with like your girlfriend or something. And she's like, you can still hang out with her. I just don't want you to hang out with her by yourself or something. Like it could be like a compromise for both of you where it's like, it makes her feel better. And then maybe at one point she'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like you guys can both hang out. Like, but now it's more of like, oh, she knows her or like that sort of thing. And I think it's just like working that out. But I think it is for sure hard when you don't talk about it. Like, and you don't communicate both of like how you're feeling about it. Yeah,
I know for sure. Cause I've always found it weird I just always find it weird that people across on either side of the like kind of, I don't know, make it like, I just always find it weird that some people have to like ask permission, like from their partners to do something or like, you can't do that. Yeah. I don't know. That just seems so weird to me. Yeah. To be like, to tell somebody what they can and can't do. Yeah. Like, again, obviously, like, barring, like, genuinely disrespectful or weird shit, like, if it's just day-to-day life, then I think that's really strange. Like, this chick was like, you can't go to work. Yeah. Well, what do I do? Just starve? You know? Yeah. I don't know. That's weird to me.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I was gonna be like, to each their own, but I think some of them are generally just really toxic.
Some people do way too much.
Yeah. Some sociopaths.
You were really, a few episodes ago, you were really, like, on the money where during sex ed, they should really teach, like, relationship.
Like consent.
Like consent, like, but even just, like, healthy, like, communication or what that looks like or red flags or when they're being manipulated or gaslighting and stuff like that. Because, honestly, I feel like most people, like, you really, like, people don't really, like, sometimes I don't even really know what like, the textbook definition of gaslighting is, right? Yeah. I think you're really on the money when you said people should teach that. I really agree. That should be taught in school because
some people know how to like actually use it to their advantage, like being gaslighting and manipulating. They just like they can just read you easily and they're like, okay, I know what to do. It's weird.
Yeah, you know. And then some people are like, and through no fault of their own, they probably just have never experienced that. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think for sure for some people it's hard to sometimes see that, especially when you're just like, especially when it's somebody you know and you like trust as well. Where you're like, I trust this person. I don't think they'll manipulate me or like tell me something else. Especially for kids. Like kids believe, you know, they'll believe you that, you know, and I think since they're very innocent, they'll trust you, you know. And I think a lot of people do take advantage of that. Yeah. I did see a TikTok of, I think she was a mom, because she was getting like emotional about it. And she was showing like these books that actually like talk about consent. And it's made for kids and like babies. And she was like talking about it, and she's like, I'm really grateful to like have these types of books so that I can teach my kids about consent. Yeah. Because I think it's really important, especially, you know, a lot of kids go to school and like they're surrounded by other kids, and you know, there's teachers and different adults that they're surrounded in, and I feel like it's important to teach them about consent, because then you know, they can tell you about something if they feel uncomfortable, you know. And I think it's really important because I feel like you should always be protective of, you know, like kids and stuff, and like
for sure
making sure that, you know, they feel safe and comfortable, because a lot of that really does affect them when they're older, you know. And I think being able to talk about it and have that open communication with your child is really important.
For sure. I agree. Yeah. I don't know. I'm surprised they don't teach that stuff. I mean, they kind of touch on consent. Like, they do touch on consent. Mm-hmm. But I genuinely, the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, why don't they teach, like, communication or what's healthy, like, relationship looks like?
Well, because I remember, I think it used to be, like, they used to say like the statement even changed where it was like yes means yes,
Yeah.
but then eventually it was like no means no. Like I don't know if it was the other way around.
I think it was, from what I remember, it's no means no, and unsure yes is no. What is it? You need an enthusiastic yes,
yeah.
something like that.
Mhm.
It can't be like, and then they teach you coercion,
Mhm.
where it's like, oh, obviously you don't fucking love me,
Yeah.
shit like that, or no, I shouldn't say that.
Bruh.
I wasn't gonna say anything bad. But yeah,
But yeah, I
But
think
mean,
it's important. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I guess they struggle already to even get even just that in school. So I can
Yeah.
imagine they have to weed out the stuff that's most important. But
Yeah.
but interesting topic.
Mhm.
Interesting topic. Have you guys, moving on a little bit? You guys know who Hulk Hogan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You guys saw, well, if you got, everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would assume yes.
Yeah, he's like, even if you don't know who Hulk Hogan is, I can imagine you've seen some sort of like caricature of him,
Mhm.
If you haven't seen him, he was at the Trump rally where he was
Yeah.
like, what you gonna do when Trumpomania runs wild on you, brother? And
That's what he said?
Yeah.
I'm
You-
dead.
and-
I didn't see it. I didn't watch it.
He's-
I just knew he was with Trump.
Yeah,
like,
he starts hulking up. He starts being
I'm
like, what you gonna do,
dead.
brother, when the Trumpomania runs wild on you, brother? And then, yeah, they showed, because I think Trump's son or like wife was talking, and he was just like bored. But then when Hulk Hogan starts talking, he's like laughing his ass off,
I'm
be like,
dead.
oh, hell yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he starts like, and the crowd goes wild because he starts doing this whole pose. But recently, I don't know what podcast it is. Can you check?
It was the Logan Paul.
Oh, he was on Impulsive?
Yeah, he was on
Well,
Impulsive.
because Logan Paul is in WWE, so
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
So was that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said I guess he addresses his controversial history, because Hulk Hogan's always been very controversial.
Yeah.
But his most controversial thing was when he said he was racist. He doesn't even like, he says it like that. He says, I'm racist to a degree. And then he
Yeah.
talks about how his daughter was dating a black man, and then he starts saying some slurs.
Yeah.
And he just everything. And that's when he got removed from WWE for a while. But mostly a lot of people hate him because he's super controversial, like the person. But recently,
he's done more than that.
yeah, he's done a lot worse. Yeah.
Mhm.
Recently he was on the Impulsive podcast, and I guess they asked him about it. Like, and he says something like, he says, if the fans can still love Chris Benoit after all the awful things they did, they're very forgiving and they'll forgive me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe less people know who Chris Benoit is.
Yeah.
But if you
wanna
don't,
explain who
yeah,
Chris
if you
Benoit
don't know who Chris Benoit is,
Sit down.
trigger warning, I guess. That guy, he was famous in what around what, like the
2000s,
the late
early
the
90s?
early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big wrestler in WWE.
He was big. Like,
He was on the come up.
He was
Mhm.
big until this
Yeah.
happened. He committed a double murder suicide with his family. And so Hulk Hogan was saying that fans still love Chris Benoit.
mhm.
And so what he did was not that bad, like by comparison. So I don't know. Pretty wild.
Crazy take. It was a crazy take.
That is crazy. Do you
Crazy.
think fans actually still like Chris Benoit?
Actually,
You'd be
I-
surprised.
Is he right? Is he right in that part? In that
I-
sense, in that part, would you say?
I
he's-
will
if he's
say,
right?
I wouldn't say the whole. Steve would probably. Steve's gonna get so mad that we talked about that because he loves the. He's a part owner. I wouldn't say the entire community loves him,
Yeah.
but I would say there's a noticeable amount who want him in the Hall of Fame,
Mm.
which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know. That's like wanting O.J. Simpson in
The Hall of Fame.
the NFL Hall of Fame.
Is he not?
No, right?
think
I
so.
hope not.
Let me check.
I hope he isn't. But yeah, so
But he was innocent.
I wouldn't say that's, I don't know. First of all, Hulk Hogan's wrong. Like, that's insane to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the wrestling community is a little.
Should we give more background on Chris Benoit?
do you
Like what
mean?
he did?
What do you mean?
Specifically?
Go specific.
Like,
So that's
specifically
crazy.
what he did?
Specifically, yeah, he murdered his wife and his toddler son,
Yeah.
and then he killed himself. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
double murder suicide.
Yeah. And like, during like WWE, he was on his rise. Like, I think he had one in WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, Steve.
He's gonna be like,
you fucks, you didn't even know. You didn't even know which one
But
it was.
people say it was caused because of like CTE and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Well,
because one of his moves.
His finishing move was basically a headbutt from the top rope. So people say he gave himself severe CTE, which is what people say O.J. Simpson had.
Yeah.
Because I think people also talk about how, I think if you have CTE, I don't know, please no doctors duet me and be like, you ignorant fuck. Where I think they can have outbursts and genuinely not remember that happened, you know? So people say that he probably did that, was like, what the fuck happened, and then killed himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I would say there's a lot of people who are like, why isn't Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame? There's one video where they asked CM Punk about
Chris Benoit?
yeah, where they say like, why is WWE trying to erase Chris Benoit? And CM Punk's like, what do you mean? Like, do you want them to be like, yeah, like that this guy? I don't know.
I think he's coming from the standpoint of like the WWE did this to Chris Benoit. Like they didn't really like.
What do you mean? Like
the stunts were like too much. Like they didn't see the signs.
Oh, I guess yeah. But after that, they banned like a bunch of head trauma stuff.
Yeah.
Like because they used to do chair shots.
Yeah.
So they banned that after. I don't know if it's specifically that, but around that time they banned that. But I don't know.
Well, because when it first came out, they thought that the whole family like had gotten murdered.
Yeah. Well, because infamously WWE did like a memorial package because they didn't know.
Yeah.
They thought that they had just got murdered by somebody else or that there was a gas leak, but then they had to pull it when they found out he was the one who killed everybody. And then slowly, obviously, they
tried to get away from Chris Benoit.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean,
it makes sense why they would.
Yeah, that's so. If anything, yeah. I mean, Hulk Hogan isn't right to say that, but there is some people I would say who are fans who, for some reason, are obsessed with like
Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because like his story in the universe of WWE is very much like what's the word, like it's very passionate, it's very much like this guy and like
because he was Eddie Guerrero's best friend and everybody loves Eddie Guerrero, and then Eddie Guerrero won and then he won. So they were best friends who were at the top. And then Steve always tells me this, that because Chris Benoit had a match against Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and that
one was crazy.
Yeah.
See? I low-key loved watching that one.
That one, yeah.
But it's because it's very like,
what's a good story?
It's a good story, and like just the match is just like super cool, and like seeing them kind of like beat each other up.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's an insane thing that Hulk Hogan said. I can't believe he said that.
He said that people should forgive him because he didn't
say people should forgive him. He said the fans are very forgiving. Like he was saying, like, oh, if they can still love Chris Benoit, then like you can. What's the exact quote? Let me see the exact quote.
What did Logan Paul say to him?
I actually did. I don't think
it was mostly him talking.
It's mostly.
But Logan Paul didn't say anything. He was like, "Yeah, questions. They should."
Hulk Hogan, Chris Benoit. I want the exact thing he said. Hulk Hogan he said wrestling fans have forgiven Chris Benoit, and he compared himself to Chris Benoit. Oh, here's the quote. Hold on, one second. Where is it? If Chris Benoit can do the crap he did and the fans still love him, you know they're very forgiving. I've made some major mistakes in my personal life. They're very, very forgiving. They forgive you. So he's saying like, I guess he's saying like, he's forgiven for all the stuff that he did, which I don't agree. I wouldn't say that. Well, we watched one WrestleMania where they booed him out of the arena.
I think I remember that.
It was the one in Florida. The one before LA, he shows up to like, he was like, welcome to WrestleMania. And the crowd, boo, get the fuck out of here, racist. So I don't know what he's talking about.
So he's saying that the fans are very well forgiving and he thinks that the fans already forgave him.
I don't think he thinks that. I think he's being kind of manipulative.
He's trying to cope.
I think he's trying to kind of say like he's trying to say like, well, cause right. There are fans who genuinely do defend Chris Benoit and say he should be in the Hall of Fame and shouldn't be erased.
Yeah.
And I think he's using that to say like, bruh, like what I did isn't anywhere near as bad as that.
Mm.
So why do you guys still get mad at me? So I think he's kind of being manipulative,
Okay.
or he's trying to be like, bruh, this guy's a murderer, and I said a few naughty words. Like, come on now, you know. Which I don't know. I think he's being manipulative.
Yeah.
This is an insane thing to say to me.
That is pretty crazy though.
No, it's
Well, also to bring up Chris Benoit and now like knowing the back and like hearing the background and
Yeah.
everything with him, I think that's just really crazy.
Well, I don't think it was bigger news because I don't think a lot of people. Well, because obviously Hulk Hogan is extremely mainstream. I mean, he was literally at the Trump rally.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people now know who Chris Benoit was in the mainstream,
Yeah.
and for understandable reasons, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a big headline. But that's insane. It's insane he said that. Hulk
That
Hogan's
is.
done a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
He stopped wrestlers from unionizing.
Really?
Yeah.
So nobody likes him.
No, yeah. I mean, even
Yeah,
wrestlers
a
hate
lot
him.
of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Wrestlers hate him. Yeah,
Like,
they hate that guy.
He threw a fit one time, no, when he lost the match.
Which one?
I can't remember. I forgot.
Steve's gonna be so bad.
So bad.
He would have known.
He would literally have been
He
like,
would have known
he'd
what
be
you
like,
meant.
oh,
He's like, how did you not know? It was
no,
like the
he'd be like, are you
71.
talking SummerSlam '95 or some shit like that? And then I remember, I know a little. If my audience probably doesn't know though, he's very much he did this thing in wrestling that they call politicking, where in wrestling, the way I like to think about it is it's like a comic book. You know how like in comic books when they want to show that a character is strong, they'll have him like punch Superman. So you read it and you're like, wow, this character must be really strong. It's kind of like that in wrestling. So if you want a wrestler to seem like he's really strong or good, you'd have him beat up like Hulk Hogan or John Cena or like pin him, because then it's like, wow, like look at what that wrestler did. Politicking is when obviously Hulk Hogan is so mainstream and he brings up so much money to the company. He has a lot of say in what happens.
Yeah.
So instead of doing like the kind thing and saying like, yeah, I'll let that wrestler beat me so he can grow in the business, Hulk Hogan would say, if that guy beats me, I fucking leave the company. Or no fucking way he beats me, or no way he touches me. I beat everybody. Yeah. You know? So that I'm obviously reducing it down a lot to simply, but he would do that a lot to a lot of wrestlers. He did that to Undertaker kind of.
Really?
Yeah. People know who Undertaker is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
I think
knows
everybody knows who Undertaker is.
He said that because you know how Undertaker does the pile driver?
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was like, this was I think when Undertaker was kind of like new or younger, and he was having a match with Undertaker, and so he did the pile driver on Hogan, and before that he was saying like, oh, are you sure it's safe? Like, I don't want to get hurt. Like the pile driver is dangerous, and that's true, it is dangerous. But he was like, no, like I'm gonna get hurt and whatever. And so the whole time leading up to the match, he was telling Undertaker like, please, man, like, please, brother, you gotta secure me, make sure I'm not gonna get hurt. And so Undertaker was like, all right, like I obviously can't hurt Hulk Hogan. He makes the most money. Yeah. So he did it, and he was like, I swear to God, like I did it as safely as I could. But after he did it, Hulk Hogan was like, oh, you got me, brother. Like I'm injured, like my neck and whatever. And that Undertaker was like, really? Like, fuck. Like, damn, I'm like, I'm fired. Like, I'm screwed. Like, they're never going to push me now. But then he rewatched the tape and that Hulk Hogan lied. His head wasn't even close to the floor. So he was trying to get like Undertaker like punished because like, oh, he's dangerous to work with. He hurts wrestlers. That's just one story. Everybody talks about shit he does. A lot of big wrestlers talk about that. So it's not shocking that he said that. Yeah. He's also a known liar. He says a lot of lying things. Like at one time, in his most famous match probably is when he slams Andre the Giant. He said Andre the Giant was like 1,000 pounds or some shit, and that he tore his biceps and his back. Yeah. And that he was like, oh, and that he was like, nobody ever slammed Andre before. That wasn't true. People slammed Andre before, and they're like, bro, you did not rip your entire back muscles and shit like that doing that. But I don't know. It's just insane that he said that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to also just hear about these things, because I feel like I grew up just hearing about wrestling too. Yeah. And I think you see like the big significant ones, you know, like Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. And I guess hearing, especially like Hulk Hogan, who I remember was huge. Yeah. Just to hear the shit that they do is just crazy.
He's kind of like Homelander. If you ever watched The Boys.
I've never seen it.
Oh, right. where it's like a brand, so he's kind of like an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good iteration.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right though. The way I think about the wrestling community, because I know everybody's like, oh, it's literally fake, it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like the circus. You know how like when you go to the circus, they do stunts and shit like that. But then there's always that stereotype that the circus is really grimy and dark.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think wrestling is like that. It is like that.
I mean, the owner is in.
There's a documentary going right now. Like the owner or the previous owner of it, Mr. McMahon, he's having a documentary done on him because I don't even want to say what he did. It's so dark.
Like sexually assaulted.
He sexually assaulted. He sexually assaulted a. I don't want to. What's her name? I don't want to be rude and not say her name.
I don't know.
But he's getting accused of that, where it was basically like, it was insane what he did, but it
is insane. Like
Steve read the entire document and he told me about it, and my jaw was on the floor. It was insane what he was accused of. We should watch the documentary. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah, I think it reminds me of the circus. Like, you know, when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna run away with the circus," and then
is it Janelle Grant?
Yeah, that's her name, Janelle Grant. Yeah, she's accusing him of.
But it's like extreme.
It's extreme, that he would. I guess trigger warning, like if
more than once, right?
Well, he was basically like using her like for sexual things, and he basically like controlled her life. At least that's what she's accusing him of. But to kind of to circle back to what Hulk Hogan said, I had sent Steve like an Instagram post of people defending Mr. McMahon, like fans being like, "Oh, she made it up, like she took his money, shit like that." So like I would say there are people in the wrestling community, fans who are really toxic. Yeah. But I think that's like every fucking that's every fan base, you know? Every fan base is fucking
I think
toxic.
Especially like with wrestling, because, you know, they build them to be these types of characters, you know? And I think people still see them as just these characters.
But they're people.
And some of them are evil people. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of them, especially, you know, how I said, like, I grew up watching these people. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I knew them from this, but I don't know them from their own personal lives. Well, and I think some people are also very much like, they see the passion that they have, you know, they see like, I guess kind of also going back to like Chris Benoit, right? They saw his story. They saw how he got up to his success. And a lot of people were like passionate about that because they saw his journey. Yeah. And I think a lot of them like keep that as a very significant part for themselves. And I think that's why it's sometimes hard to see the bad side of them and like let them go.
No, that's a great point. I think it's like reality TV.
Yeah.
Like if you ever watch reality TV, it's exactly the same thing. If you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Jersey Shore, it's the same thing. But picture if Kim Kardashian had a match after with Kourtney, and because they had to settle a feud. But reality TV is fake. Like it's scripted. And I went to school for film, and they talk about how if you want to break into the editing industry, you have to go to those shows because it's fake. The editors edit together the storyline and shit like that. It's the same. I'd argue wrestling, like the WWE style, really kind of, I mean, they say it that they wanted to be like Jerry Springer. So you're right. I think people see the characters like Hulk Hogan, where he was supposed to be like, take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother. And it's like, no, he's like the American hero. Like he's a good dude, but he's actually a huge asshole, piece of shit. Yeah.
I mean, that's what his song says, no?
I am a real American. Yeah, that is a song.
We should have seen it.
Yeah, and then what else did he do? He stopped wrestlers from unionizing.
That's crazy.
So like wrestling, at least I don't know if it's all wrestling.
He got somebody fired because of that, no?
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. Yeah. You some people probably see him. He's in Predator, the first Predator. He tried to get the wrestling community, at least I just think it's just WWE. I don't know how that works. Hulk Hogan snitched and was like, "Oh, they're trying to unionize, brother." Damn. And so like
Mr. I like how you use that voice.
Mr. McMahon came in and was like, "You're fired. Like Damn. No union." And then I really don't remember, but I think Hulk Hogan played a part in some degree. I think he did something with like the steroid thing that they had. I don't remember. I forget, but somehow he was involved. I don't know. Allegedly, this is all alleged, so he doesn't.
Steve's probably.
So he doesn't sue. Allegedly, this is also they don't sue.
I think it's crazy. Wasn't there the story of that one wrestler who didn't want to take the drug test that he was taking steroids?
Oh, was it?
Oh, Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
He said if you're gonna drug test me, drug test Triple H,
Uh,
and then that after that magically that they never did it to him. Because Triple
Damn.
H is the COO now. Yeah. So
He's always-
allegedly,
T.
All
There's a
alle-
lot of T in wrestling.
alleged T.
Yeah. Alleged T.
Alleged.
It's good for like conspiracies and shit.
Yeah,
too.
this is all conspiracies.
Yeah.
Wink. Yeah. But yeah, that's just an insane thing. I mean, I guess we'll start to finish it off with the last topic. We got a few things. What do you guys want to talk? You guys want to talk about 9/11, or do you want to talk about spooky season or Caitlyn Clark?
So what was it about spooky season?
It's
I
just
would-
becoming
it's
spooky
becoming
That's
season.
coming. That's coming up.
Yeah.
I feel like Caitlyn Clark's got
Wanna
more.
talk about Caitlyn Clark? Tell me,
Yeah.
tell me about it, bro.
Yeah, Tell us about it.
Caitlyn Clark, rookie, moved to the Indiana
Fever.
The Indiana Fever,
I always
yeah.
mix up the names because they don't have a lot of teams.
How many
had, like-
teams? There's like 8, right?
Yeah, 8 from the whole country.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know everything, but
Yeah.
it's there's not.
But
there's-
she's putting people on the map. She's bringing a lot of viewership. She's bringing a lot of new fans to WNBA. Nothing than ever
well,
before.
yeah, I think the WNBA is bigger than it's ever been right now,
Yeah.
and that's amazing. You know.
Yeah.
The only thing I've heard in terms of controversy is that the Rookie of the Year race
Mhm.
is between her and Angel Reese, who plays for the Chicago Sky.
Mhm.
I haven't really followed a lot of the games. I see the highlights,
Yeah.
so I can't personally be like, oh, it's bullshit, you know, like, because I don't know. And you were telling me about how one of the stats people like to throw around.
Oh
is
yeah,
bullshit.
like they were playing with the stats. So she's like the most constantly fouled person, but it's like in the number, like the number is 80%
They said something that all the flagrant
Yeah.
foul, like of all the flagrant fouls, which is basically
physical.
yeah, in terms of like the season so far, 80% of them have been on Caitlyn Clark,
Mhm.
saying like, oh, look at how they're treating her. But you were telling me that
Like the overall year is like 30 like total fouls, and only 4 of them have been on her.
yeah, so it makes it sound like
So they're not attacking her, or they are.
it's just. I mean, I don't know. It just the he's just saying that headline is a little misleading.
Yeah.
Like it's
Mhm.
making it seem like they fouled her 100 times.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's more like there's only been, this is just like for the sake of the demonstration of the point,
Yeah.
there's only been like 10 flagrant fouls. So yeah, 4 have been on her. So yeah, technically you can say like, oh, 40% or 80% have been on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's that's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of misleading. So that's what he's
Mm.
talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy that the WNBA is getting a lot of attention and that they're getting to show their skill.
Yeah.
Because I think for a long time, I don't know. I still think there's a lot of sexism in sports.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's unfortunate.
I think it's been like a big struggle, and I guess I can say when they did the Steph Curry thing.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
When they had brought in the girl to do it. I forgot her name. I'm gonna look
Caitlyn
it up.
Clark.
I don't think it was her.
It wasn't her. I thought it
I
was
don't
her and
think it was
him.
her.
I thought it
Was it her?
right when they had the 3-point shootout. Caitlyn Clark and Steph Curry.
Was it
No,
her?
it was somebody else.
It was somebody else.
Really?
Yeah, it was somebody else.
Damn. Uh-oh.
Sabrina. I don't know how to say her last name.
Sabrina.
Ionensko? Scoop? I don't know.
Google just keeps saying Sabrina Carpenter.
But her name is Sabrina.
Yeah, Sabrina.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah, it doesn't even show her.
But I remember when they did that, and because you know how she chose to do the same, like,
Yeah. No, I watched it. Yeah.
Because you know how they say that what hers is,
I think. Well, for one, I think the WNBA ball is smaller,
yeah.
and then I think the 3-point line is a little closer,
Yeah.
like a foot or something like that.
Mhm. And she
But
chose to do the same one as
She
Steph
did.
Curry.
Yeah, she used the NBA ball,
Yeah.
right? I think she used the NBA ball. I don't remember.
I don't think she did.
No, I don't think she did.
I think she used the same. I think the only thing she changed was the distance.
Yeah.
I wanna say.
Oh yeah, she shot from the. I remember watching that because I watched All Star Weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the commentators, I forget which one, was like, the whole time he was saying like, "Nah, this doesn't count," or something like that. Like, why don't she do this? And then even the other commentators are like, relax, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He said something kind of like sexist, no?
He says something like, why didn't she just use the
woman's
woman's line or something like that? That's why I said the
Mhm.
ball, because I forgot exactly the line that he said, but he said something that was pretty discrediting to what she was doing.
Yeah.
But the other commentators called him out. I forget which one. That's why I'm not saying the names that are coming up
Yeah.
in my head, because I don't want to say it like, oh, this guy said it. And
Yeah.
she didn't.
But I think when that whole thing like happened, I think that was very telling of like how the NBA and the WNBA are like being treated, and like how there is still a lot of work that needs to be made of like people respecting, the athletes in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she got a lot of criticism when that whole thing came out, but it was like, but it was just very impressive because she was really close to like,
she
basically like tying.
Some of the guys didn't even do that good. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Like,
And it was like, I think the person who won the 3-point got her point. So I think she got 26, and the person who actually won the award for like the men's side of the 3-point thing, I think she tied the winner.
She could have competed with them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's for sure one of the biggest things that I would say is that like I think a lot of these women athletes get a lot of criticism, and I think they get discredited for the things that they do. And I think it's still very much a lot of work that needs to be done for women athletes. Because I feel like, they also dedicate themselves to this, and I think they do a lot of work to it. And I feel like, they're doing their best in like a world where it's really hard to
stacked against them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because good.
I was gonna say, but the interesting part is that Caitlyn Clark is getting hate from within the WNBA. Like
I guess it's
like a bunch of like not older players, but like those like veterans.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they are. I would say that I have seen a lot of stuff where they're being a little fucked up to her, but I feel like that happens a lot with like the new like guy. I mean, that happened to like LeBron when he was like young. Like
I feel like a lot of the things that Caitlyn Clark gets are very much valid, but I think a lot of them are overly done because they're women.
Yeah.
I mean, male athletes do the same thing.
Yeah.
They fight with each other. I mean, what was that guy? Draymond Green fucking chokes the players.
when he choked Rudy Gobert.
And I just think with the WNBA, the girls get aggressive, and I think that's valid because the men also get aggressive. But I feel like because they're women, they attack them a lot more because they're just being misogynistic. And I think that's like my biggest issue with that is that I understand if she's getting attacked and it's not fair, but it's also like if she's the big athlete, I think that's part of it, and it's sad that it is part of it. But I also think that people overly do it because they're women. Yeah, and I think especially when they pin, like the rookies, right? The rookie, Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark. Like, I think them pinning that is also just people kind of like having them pin against each other, and they always talk to each other. They're like, we're chill, like we're fine, like we're competing in this very competitive sport, so it's completely normal to be competitive. I just think that because they're women, people are like, oh, they're being bitches, like they're being like really mean to each other, they're mean girls. But it's like, it's a fucking game. The men do the same thing, and it's like they get physical, but nobody says anything about it. But when it's the women that do it, it's like, oh my god, like it's horrible what they're doing to her. You know?
I actually, that's a good point. That's a really good point. When that happens in the male league or the NBA, right? They eat it up. Like, they're like, oh, there's no rivalries anymore. You know? That's why when people talk about the Chicago Sky and Indiana, their rivalry, I'm like, that happens all the time. Lakers and Celtics. Have you seen that video where Kareem punches a guy and like knocks him out? Yeah. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the people say one of the greatest of all time. He punches a guy like fist and knocks him out. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, didn't Draymond also punch a guy?
He stepped on Sabonis on his
nuts. When they were like doing their
he punched Jordan Poole.
His own teammate.
Yeah, you know. So like, no, you're right. I feel like you're right. The women are held to a higher standard. Of like, oh my god, like where's their
because it's like they're athletes. athletes, but they're being held to this high standard that they're still women and they should still be classy and like chill with each other and they should act like women
They're
of like being
competitors.
respectful. But it's like, but they're athletes in a very competitive sport. What do you want them to do? Like, oh, I nudged you. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I think that's the one thing that I guess kind of angers me through like the whole thing is that they expect women to still be very like chill and classy and like, and then they're always saying that women are fragile, but like here they are and like they're complaining about like the girls are being too aggressive. And it's like, it's like the sport is mainly aggressive, you know?
I would also argue that I like Caitlyn Clark. She's really good, like a testament to her skill. But I think the aggressiveness she's experienced is a testament to her skill.
Yeah.
Whoever the guy is, like on the court, gets attacked.
Yeah.
Like, if you've seen videos of Jordan getting attacked, in the documentary of The Last Dance, they had Jordan rules where they just attacked the shit out of him. I remember watching this series. It was I forget what year, but it was when the Lakers were in the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets when Carmelo was still on. If you watch them like go at each other, they're basically just pushing. They're basically just wrestling, you know. They're competitors. It gets physical, you know. And you're 100% right. Like Steph Curry, they're always chasing the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah.
LeBron, I've seen videos like a compilation of when LeBron tries to do a layup and they just tackle him, and he still makes it, right. So you're right. I think they're just being held to.
But I think that's what really sucks about how you talked about like the headline.
Yeah.
Because it creates more of, I guess, the divide between everything, where it's just like, oh, they're hating her, they're hating on her, they're attacking her, like the WNBA, or how I think you said like the organization is attacking her, and I think that's very misleading, and it really does discredit everybody else who is in the league. Because they're like, oh, they're attacking this one person. But it's like, but in reality, I mean, they seem pretty chill with each other. And it's generally just them, you know, like just having like that rivalry. Because it's what makes the game, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, that's a really good point. And I apologize, I never even saw like the one-to-one like connection. Because because I think a lot of people bring up that one. I forget what the name of the player is, but Caitlyn Clark is walking and she speeds up to like bumper.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen in the NBA. Like there's one where Chris Paul like looks at I think not Rudy Gobert, fucking Pat Bev, like that, and then Pat Bev pushes him. You know, shit like they're petty in the fucking.
Where he like pushed Chris Paul when it was like timeout or something.
They're petty as fuck in the NBA. Like what are you talking about? There's the one where Morris like pushes fucking Jokic, and Jokic fucking hits the shit out of him. Yeah, that shit happens all the time. So
I remember the Chris Paul and Pat Bev because like Chris Paul's like.
Yeah, he like jumps out of the way.
Yeah. But like it's the same thing, you know. But I think because women are still put in this high standard and the way women should be acting, right? I'm just like, I don't know. That's the thing that I'm just like, I feel like people just very much twist it, and I think I'm very passionate about it because I'm like, it's still people trying to put women against each other, and I think they're all trying to make the WNBA be the goal to be up there. And I think to be doing like, you know, like these headlines that mislead people, I think very much gives them like hate towards the league because it's very much like, oh, you see how they act, like
they can't just play right.
They can't just it's just like what the men do the same thing.
Yeah, the NBA is petty as fuck. Yeah, no, you're right. They actually are really petty. Yeah,
I've seen people take it to a degree that they bring race involved, like Caitlyn Clark and
do they actually?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And what do they say?
They're like, everybody's rooting for Caitlyn Clark because she's a white girl, and like compared to Angel Reese, she's putting up numbers too, but nobody's batting an eye at her.
I
have seen those too. Well, because everybody has always mostly said that the league. Well, I guess because it comes from the league always being majority like black people, or like in the NBA you would see it's mostly like black men. And I think with the WNBA, it's kind of getting the same thing where it's mostly been black women. And I think because the face of WNBA right now is a white woman, that I think people are like, oh, they're only preaching to her and like putting her up. Because I guess because it's, Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark that they're kind of like putting them against each other. And they're like, oh, like people are more forgiving or whatever with Caitlyn Clark because, she's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get you. That's interesting. That's crazy. Nah, but that was a really good point. Like, yeah, I love that shit when the NBA is petty as fuck in the fight, and everybody else does. If you look on YouTube, those clips have like the most views ever.
Yeah.
Like
Compilations.
yeah, like NBA fights or NBA tense moments. Like that one time, I forget what team they were on. Maybe it was the Wizards. I forgot who it was. But they try to like kill LeBron. Like he's like fighting the whole team to kill LeBron.
They try to kill.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, nah, you're right. They eat that shit up.
But but I think you see how like for the men's side they eat that shit up, but for the women it's always just criticism.
Yeah.
Of like all the women are being catty or whatever. And I'm just like,
actually, you're right. That's a really good
Think
point.
of it that way.
I see people complain all the time about how the NBA is like, oh, it's so soft now. Nobody has any competitive spirit. Like. But what they're talking about is how many flagrant fouls there were in like the 90s and the 80s, even the early 2000s, you know? And so, no, really good point, Julie.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But
Be respectful to women.
Yeah.
All right? Just because you're mad that they're coming up.
But, yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have for today. It was a really good episode, I think. Thank you for everybody who watched. Thank you to Patrick for showing up and shout out to Patrick.
Happy belated birthday again.
Happy belated birthday. Go ahead and give Patrick a follow. He's trying to start his own thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Go ahead and follow Patrick. Before I send everybody off, I got to do a shout out to our patrons. Shout out to Yoel, Jerry Chicano, Angel Zamaron, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tots, Carla Corazon, Stephen Carvajal, Sarah without an H, and El Verdugo de Pasadena. If anybody ever wants to join the Patreon, our link is always in the description. We have a lot of great content on there. And our highest tier gets a hand on the wall as part of the Students of the Month. If you want to be on the wall and get your name up here while we're filming, go ahead and subscribe to that tier. But thank you to everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.